It is time for another special edition of Litter Media Live. Today we're talking about Ohio Statehood Day being celebrated here in Chillicothe this coming Saturday, which happens to be the actual birthday of Ohio. We'll explain coming up in a bit. We have with us Andrew Hall. He is the new executive director of the Ross County Historical Society. Details on the way in just a moment. Right after
Find
this,
a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult
CTC.
Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Welcome back, and thank you, Pickaway Ross CTC Adult Education. With us is Andrew Hall, and this is your first Statehood Day in Chillicothe. Of course, you've been here for Statehood Day before, right?
You know, I've never actually had the pleasure of visiting the Chillicothe during Statehood Day, so you're right. This will be my first Statehood Day in a couple of different ways.
Are you nervous?
Oh, not any more than I would be for other events. I'm mostly just excited, honestly.
Yeah, because everything's open.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we're talking all the historic sites here in Chillicothe will be open for people to peruse through. I know you have special winter hours or special guest hours for different times, but this is designated as Statehood Day. It starts with the breakfast at the First Presbyterian Church and then makes its way into all of your museums.
Absolutely. And, you know, there's a little bit of something different with everyone you go to. If you have some time in the morning, you can hit up places like the David Nickens Center or the Lucy Webb Hayes House. They're going to have hours starting from 10 a.m. If you've got more time in the afternoon, you've got folks like the Genealogical Society or the Ross County Historical Society, where we will be open from 1 to 5. And all of these museums are open free of charge. Really, what we are doing is we're trying to capture the energy of Statehood Day to really inspire people to learn more about their local history and about the state that they live in as well.
You have a section of the museum, which is one of my favorites. It's where the railroad diorama is and everything. Railroad is very important to this city. And even the Railroad Museum will be open as well.
Absolutely. The cabooses have been doing a ton of work, doing repainting and redecorating. So this year when they reopen for Statehood Day, it should look, you know, like a brand new coat of paint. They should look like $1 million.
Yeah, that's fantastic. A lot of folks see the cabooses and sometimes they forget about them.
Oh, sure.
And they're sitting right there at the edge of Yoctangi Park on Water Street.
Honestly, I think there are a lot of museums and historic sites here in town that people just have a tendency to forget about because, you know, we're tucked away. We're not on the main drag all the time. And, you know, it's just another one of those things where you live in town your whole life and you just never get around to visiting these places. So now's your chance. Come and visit us while we're free. And you just might find that you are so captivated you'll want to keep coming back.
Right. I have to ask, as a new member of our citizenry here, you no doubt have had a chance to go and visit a lot of these locations. What has struck you most outside of the Ross County Heritage Center?
Well, you know what, Dan? It's just, I am continually blown away by how deep and rich Chillicothe history really is. No matter which historic site you go to, no matter which museum you visit, you're going to find stories of people you never heard of or events that have wide-reaching implications much further beyond our little town here. And it really shows why Chillicothe was Ohio's first capital and continues to be important in the state today.
The Constitution table is always something that people like to see, and they look at it and they think, oh, it kind of looks like a standard table. But then you realize everything for Ohio was mapped on that table, you know, as far as our structure and our Constitution. And then suddenly it takes a different level.
It really does. It all starts to sink in when you realize just how much work was done in just that one spot.
Yeah. And the meticulous detail of the record keeping that you find at the David Nickens Heritage Center, all the church documents and everything, it's amazing how they kept all that stuff structured to be able to, I mean, look back on it now, it's like, holy cow. They did a great job of keeping records.
Oh, you're definitely right there. And you can see that really at just pretty much any of these historic sites that you visit. There are impeccable record keeping skills that have been used in order to preserve Chillicothe's stories and history. And especially if you have been here for a long time, and if you haven't done any genealogical work, you really should go and see the records at the Genealogical Society. If you've got a family that's been in Chillicothe more than a generation or two, I guarantee you're going to find some stuff about yourself that you probably didn't know about when you visit them. And the staff there and the volunteers may even know more about you and your family than you know about yourself.
Yeah, and you may not want to know everything.
That happens sometimes.
Right. When we look at this, no doubt in your 90 days or so that you've been here so far, you've probably had a lot of people you've talked with that have never been to Chillicothe before. What are you telling them?
I'm telling them a lot of what I was just telling you, that I keep finding unique and new things to learn about this town, and that have, again, wide-ranging implications well beyond Chillicothe. So whenever I talk about this town to people, I try to explain, it sounds kind of humdrum. It doesn't sound special, especially when we have all these other larger cities here in the state. But there's really something special here. And it's one of those things you really can't see how special it is until you're actually here and experiencing it. And that's what I tell people, that you just can't really tell what Chillicothe's like until you're here.
When I was a kid growing up in the 70s, we had Ohio history in the 4th grade and 7th grade. What I think I can remember, Marietta was the first settlement in this side of the Ohio River.
Right.
But then Chillicothe became the seat of it all. Great Northwest Territory was the capital and the whole deal in that respect. When we look back on it, man, how important it was for the framing of Ohio, all happening here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, between just the construction of our state's government to planning out the way that the counties would end up being mapped out to developing treaties and plans for the expansion of the state. You're right. I mean, Chillicothe was really the true seat of Ohio statehood, and there's a reason it was the capital more than once.
At one point, Ross County was like 4 or 5 counties big.
I mean, we reached up, as far as I know, all the way well past Franklin County, and technically Columbus would have been part of us.
Right. But somehow things, get out of our hands.
Well, sometimes it's better to be humble and let other people take things over. We don't need to do everything.
Chillicothe went to Zanesville, came back to Chillicothe, ends up in Franklinton, which becomes Columbus.
Right.
So for those of you that haven't paid attention in Ohio history, that's kind of like the lineage of how it's gone there. So again, everything is free and everything will be open. So, does that include the Blair House?
It does not include the Blair House, no.
Okay. All right. So scratch that one out. But you can see the Blair House anytime by appointment, from what I understand.
Are you talking about the Franklin House?
With
the one with the Ross County Historical Society?
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. So the Franklin House will not be open during the open house on Statehood Day, but you're right. If you come in for a tour, you can book that tour with us anytime you want to head on over to the Franklin House.
Yeah. And the docents you have, they know their stuff.
Yes, indeed. Everybody on the team is well trained, and not only do they know what they're doing, but they want to be there and they want to talk to you.
Yeah. Are you open to volunteers?
We absolutely are, and you're going to start seeing a lot more about that. We are going to be looking to build a volunteer team of folks here from town who are just really inspired and interested in sharing those types of stories. So if you are a history buff and you want to share that interest with other people, come on down.
Yeah, if you got a passion for it, we need you.
Yep, we'd be happy for you.
March 1st of 1803. So we turn 222 years old this Saturday.
Indeed.
Anything that we've missed?
Well, what I can say is if you're looking for something really specific and special to do that day, other than just visiting these individual museums, there are a couple of timed programs that are happening. So over at the Lucy Webb Hayes House at 3 o'clock, there'll be a first-person performance. So somebody acting as the acting governor of the Northwest Territory, Charles Willing Byrd. And then over at the Ross County Historical Society at 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, we will be putting on a Victorian flea circus.
Really? Was this part of some of the acts that came through Chillicothe back in the day?
Chillicothe, Columbus, and a number of other cities here in Ohio were major either wintering grounds or tour routes for circuses and traveling performers. So Ohio has seen all sorts of odd performances, from circuses to snake oil salesmen all the way to flea circuses. And we'll have one that's been faithfully reproduced to show you what it would have been like to have that kind of entertainment during the 19th century.
I'll be. Have your good glasses on so you can see the flea circus. I've never seen a flea circus outside of a Looney Tunes cartoon, I think, at one point in time.
Well, this is your chance. It is a truly unique experience.
One more reason to be here in Chillicothe.
There you go.
I always say, it all happens in Chillicothe.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Statehood Day again coming up Saturday. Make sure you're there. And don't forget, if you want to find out more about these locations, go visit them, first of all, on Statehood Day, and then go back for a return visit because you may not be able to get it all in on Saturday. Again, thank you to the Pickaway Ross Career and Technology Center Adult Education for funding our segment of Litter Media Live.